What kind of features will help you identify a wood specimen when you look at it under a hand lens? I'm Frank Owens from the Wood Identification Team at Mississippi State University. In this series of videos, we'll teach you how to identify North American woods the scientific way with a small magnifying glass called a hand lens. In the previous video, we taught you how to view the transverse surface of a wood specimen with a hand lens. In this video, we'll show you what kind of anatomical features you need to pay attention to help you differentiate one wood from another. As the anatomies of hardwoods and softwoods are quite different, let's start by looking at hardwoods. We'll look at softwoods in a future video. Do you know the difference between a hardwood and a softwood? It has nothing to do with how hard or soft the wood actually is. Rather, it has to do with the kind of trees they come from. Hardwood trees like oaks, ashes, and birches have broad leaves, while softwood trees like pines, firs, and spruces have needles. In addition to different leaves, hardwood and softwood trees exhibit different structures in their woods. Hardwoods have small holes called pores, softwoods do not. Pores are actually the cross-sections of tube-like structures called vessels that help transport water vertically in the tree. Softwoods also move water up the tree, but they don't use vessels to do it. We'll talk more about that in a future video. All you need to remember now is, if you look at the transverse surface and see tiny little holes like the ones in the image on the left, you're looking at a hardwood. If you don't see any, as in the photo on your right, you're looking at a softwood. Broadly speaking, there are two kinds of things we consider when performing a macroscopic hardwood identification: physical characteristics and anatomical features. Physical characteristics are things we can detect with our senses of sight, smell, and touch. They include color, luster, that is the shininess or dullness of the wood, odor, tactile characteristics, how it feels to the touch, density, how heavy it is, and hardness, how tough it is to scratch with your fingernail. Many people who work with wood daily as a part of a job or hobby get pretty good at identifying wood by observing physical characteristics. But the problem is physical characteristics are not always 100% reliable indicators of a wood's identity. That's why we need to go the extra step for a scientific identification and look at anatomical features with our hand lens to be absolutely certain which wood we're looking at. In the next several slides, we're going to give you lots of information about hardwood anatomy, but we don't expect you to learn it all at once. Recognizing anatomical features and patterns takes practice and time, so if you need to come back to this video to refresh your memory, don't hesitate to watch it again and again. Pores, those little holes that separate hardwoods from softwoods, are very important for hardwood identification. Hardwood pores exhibit three general patterns: ring porous, semi-ring porous, and diffuse porous. Ring porous hardwoods like ash and oak have larger pores than the early wood. At the point where the early wood transitions to the late wood, the pore size becomes immediately small. This abrupt change in size from large to small pores gives the appearance of rings or circles, hence the name ring porous. Semi-ring porous woods like walnut and butternut also have larger pores than the early wood, but instead of transitioning abruptly, the pore size transitions gradually through the growth ring to smaller and smaller late wood pores. Since the transition from larger to smaller pores is not as abrupt as the ring porous, we call these semi-ring pores. Diffuse porous woods like maple and birch have the same small-sized pores throughout the entire growth ring. Since the pores are all of a uniform size from the early wood through the late wood, we call these woods diffuse porous. Once we've identified the porosity of a wood, we need to look at how the pores are grouped. Some pores are all by themselves. We call those solitary pores. Others are grouped in twos and threes. We call those pore multiples. Sometimes those vertical groups become very long, in which case we call them pore chains. And sometimes pores group together vertically and horizontally into little roundish clumps we call clustered or nested pores. Finally, when pores come together to form long horizontal strips, we call those wavy bands. Hardwoods can have more than one kind of grouping in the same growth ring, so when you view your specimen under a hand lens, take time to make sure you note all the types you see. Next, we'll look at how the pores are arranged. Some pores are arranged with no obvious vertical or horizontal pattern. We call those random pore arrangements. Some pores are arranged vertically. If the pattern looks like a crooked line that runs more or less parallel to the rays, as in area 1 in the lower left, we call it a radial row. If that vertical arrangement branches to look like a flame, as in area 2 in the lower left, we call that flame-like, or sometimes dendritic row. And finally, some pores are arranged horizontally or tangentially, as we see in the image in the lower right. We're almost done with pores, but before we move on, let's look at Tyloses. In some woods, pores contain contents that look like cellophane. These pore stuffings we call Tyloses, and they are very useful for identification. Before we wrap up, let's look quickly at rays. Rays can be found in two general sizes, narrow and broad. While all woods have narrow rays, only some woods have broad rays, so like pore patterns, ray widths help us separate some woods from others. And those are all the basic features you'll need to identify the hardwoods we'll show you in the next few videos. There are actually a few more features like parenchyma that you'll need for harder to identify woods, but we'll cover those in future videos when we need them. For now, get ready to apply what you've learned so far in our next video on identifying red oak and white oak. If you're interested in learning how to identify woods the scientific way, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. We'll be rolling out new videos over the next several weeks. In the meantime, if you have a wood specimen you want scientifically identified or in-person or online training for yourself or your company, please send me an email at frank.owens@msstate.edu. This video has been brought to you by Mississippi State University Extension, taking care of what matters.